Welcome back to another explainer. So, I was looking into sustainable weight management recently, and honestly, I stumbled upon something truly fascinating. We always hear the standard advice, right? Count your calories, track every single bite, maintain a strict deficit. But what if there's an unsung secret agent of metabolic health? Like a literal missing nutrient that actually makes sustainable weight loss achievable without all that constant math? Today, we're bringing that secret agent out of the shadows. It's a super relatable frustration, isn't it? You eat a carefully portioned meal, you track the calories perfectly, and then, an hour later, you're absolutely ravenous. It's the worst. Focusing only on energy balance and calories makes us overlook a huge, glaring question. Why do some foods naturally help us eat less while others just leave us starving? Okay, let's dive into this because honestly, solving this mystery changes the whole shebang when it comes to how we approach our daily meals. Section 1. The missing weight loss link. So the answer to our question is actually dietary fiber. It is consistently linked to lower body weight and better metabolic health. But man, it gets way less attention than protein, carbs, or fats. To really understand why we're struggling so much, just look at this stark number, 15 grams. That represents the average daily fiber intake for Americans. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, because the recommended intake is roughly 25 grams a day for women and up to 38 grams for men. That is a massive fiber gap. We're talking about consuming only half of what our bodies actually need to function optimally. And this widespread gap, it's easily one of the most overlooked factors driving overeating and weight gain today. But before we look at how it solves hunger, let's quickly recap what it actually is. Fiber is simply the portion of plant foods that passes through your digestive tract largely intact. Unlike sugars, proteins, or fats, it doesn't get fully digested or absorbed. And because of this really unique biology, fiber contributes practically zero usable energy, or calories, to the body. But hey, don't let that fool you. While it doesn't give you direct energy, it performs an absolute symphony of vital functions as it travels through your system. Section 2. Meet your digestive hero. To truly understand our secret agent here, we have to look at its two distinct tactical divisions, because fiber isn't just one thing, and this brilliantly illustrates exactly how they work. On the left, we've got soluble fiber. This stuff dissolves in water and literally forms a gel-like substance in your digestive tract. This gel slows down digestion and regulates your blood sugar. Then on the right, we have insoluble fiber. This one doesn't dissolve. Instead, it adds bulk to your stool and acts like, well, a biological broom, moving food efficiently through your system. Now, in the real world, most whole plant foods contain a healthy mix of both, but seeing their distinct roles really shows just how hard fiber's working for you behind the scenes. So where do we actually find this hero? Fortunately, fiber is everywhere in whole plant foods. I'd actually recommend snapping a quick screenshot of this for your next grocery trip. As you'll see, we have fantastic sources across the board. Legumes like black beans and lentils, absolute fiber powerhouses. Then you've got whole grains like oats and quinoa, hearty vegetables like broccoli and sweet potatoes, everyday fruits like apples and berries, and, of course, nuts and seeds like chia and almonds. And it's no coincidence that these are the exact foods associated with lower rates of obesity and chronic disease. Section 3. Nature's appetite suppressant. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these biological mechanisms stack up to create genuine, lasting satiety. First off, remember that soluble gel we talked about? It slows down stomach emptying, which literally means your meals physically stay with you longer. Second, high-fiber foods require more chewing. That naturally slows you down and gives your brain time to actually register that you're eating. Third, fiber increases food volume. It takes up physical space in your stomach without adding excess calories. And finally, this is a big one. Fiber naturally triggers the release of GLP-1. Yes, that is the exact same fullness hormone that modern weight loss drugs target, but your body is just doing it naturally. So you feel fully satisfied without having to rely entirely on sheer willpower. Okay, so feeling full in the stomach is fantastic, right? But what happens when those nutrients finally leave the digestive tract and enter the bloodstream? How does fiber create metabolic stability throughout the rest of the body? Well, fiber doesn't just manage your stomach. It's basically acting as a metabolic traffic controller. When fiber is present in a meal, carbohydrates are digested and absorbed much more slowly. And this completely prevents those sharp, rapid blood sugar spikes and, the inevitable exhausting crashes that always follow. Over time, promoting this steady blood sugar response actually improves your insulin sensitivity, which is a huge deal for protecting you against insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Plus, by stopping those rapid blood sugar drops, fiber actively reduces that rebound hunger and those intense mid-afternoon cravings that derail so many weight loss efforts. Section 4, feeding your inner ecosystem. All right, this is where things get almost sci-fi. When fiber reaches the colon, the trillions of microorganisms in your inner ecosystem absolutely feast on it. They ferment it. And the crucial byproduct of this fermentation process, there are these things called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. Now, these aren't just random waste products. They are vital signaling molecules that travel throughout your entire body. We're talking influencing inflammation, dictating metabolism, and they even facilitate communication between your gut and your brain. They are basically the core reason why high-fiber diets lower the risk of so many chronic diseases. Let's move on and see how this builds, because these short-chain fatty acids give us 3 specific superpowers. First up, we have butyrate. This is the primary fuel for the cells lining your colon, essentially keeping your intestinal barrier strong and totally secure. Then there's propionate. This one directly plays a role in regulating your glucose and controlling your appetite right from within the gut. And finally, acetate, which your body uses as a widespread energy source and to boost your overall immune function. I mean, it's just an incredible internal factory. I absolutely love this quote because it just changes everything about how we view food. In many ways, when you eat fiber, you're not only feeding yourself, you're feeding an entire ecosystem that supports your health. You are the steward of your own metabolic health. Think about that. Every time you choose a fiber-rich food, you are directly nourishing these microscopic allies that work around the clock to keep you lean, energetic, and healthy. And the research absolutely backs this up from every single angle. If we look at observational studies across massive populations, higher fiber intake consistently correlates with lower body weight and lower disease risk. But honestly, even more impressively, when we look at clinical trials where researchers actually intervene, adding fiber leads to increased satiety, reduced calorie intake, and modest but really meaningful weight loss. And the absolute best part? Many participants achieve this weight loss without ever being instructed to count a single calorie. The fiber just naturally creates that deficit for them.
Section 5, how to eat more fiber. So, how do we actually put this into practice? Well, here is our actionable mission briefing to implement everything we've just learned. First, and this is absolutely crucial, increase gradually. Seriously, if you try to jump to 40 grams tomorrow, you are going to experience some major bloating and abdominal discomfort. Just add, 3 to 5 extra grams per week. Step 2, prioritize whole foods over supplements. Whole foods give you the vitamins, the natural physical structure, and the water your body actually needs. Which brings us to step 3, stay hydrated. Remember, fiber needs fluid to work like that biological broom we talked about earlier. And finally, step 4, aim for 30 different plant foods weekly. It sounds like a lot, but it gives your gut microbiome the diverse buffet it really craves.
Now, if 30 plants sounds a bit intimidating, don't worry. Just look at these highly actionable, super simple dietary swaps. You can dramatically close that fiber gap with almost zero effort. Just toss a handful of beans or lentils into one meal a day, swap out your white rice for quinoa or brown rice, or make a rule to fill exactly half your plate with veggies before you add anything else. Eat the whole apple instead of just drinking the juice. Sprinkle some chia seeds on your morning oats or grab a handful of almonds instead of potato chips. These tiny little tweaks, they add up incredibly fast. So the crucial point is this. Fiber empowers you to manage your weight biologically. It works with your biology rather than against it. Instead of fighting your body through sheer willpower and chronic deprivation, fiber actually repairs and enhances your natural hunger and fullness signals. It gets them functioning exactly the way they were always designed to. Fiber is undoubtedly a foundational piece of the puzzle, totally transforming how our bodies perceive hunger and manage energy. But as powerful as fiber is, it's actually only part of the story. While fiber controls the physical sensation of fullness, there is another massive factor that determines exactly how much food you can actually put on your plate while still managing your weight. And that brings us to a huge question. What about calorie density? How do we maximize the sheer volume of food we get to eat? Well, you're going to have to join me for our next explainer to find out. Until then, go feed your ecosystem, and I'll see you next time.